Who is the most coveted free agent quarterback in the CFL this offseason? For Capital Auto Mall Universal Collision Center, 69% of respondents on Twitter and 57% on Facebook saying it's Jeremiah Masoli, the most coveted quarterback in CFL free agency. Next up, Nick Arbuckle of Calgary. Nick Fatty Arbuckle. Coming in third in the poll, Matt Nichols out of Winnipeg, and coming in fourth, Chris Strevler. I would vote for Arbuckle. If I was a CFL GM, he's the guy that I would want the most now that Cody Fajardo's off the board. You can vote on this for the next 22 hours. And guys, I don't know if the dominoes have started toppling already. Edmonton fired Jason Maas this week. Devon Claybrooks fired in BC a couple of weeks ago. Rick Campbell walking away from Ottawa a couple of weeks ago. 3 jobs open. And we're all sitting here on bated breath awaiting the status of Mike O'Shea in Winnipeg. Is that the next domino to fall? Is he going to Toronto? Are they firing Chamberlain? Man, these are crazy times.
Yeah, and might we find out and get a little more clarity today? Because the media is going to ask that if he's addressing the media and they're going to get their questions. They're going to want to know, is he any closer to making a decision? What's his future look like? And so I think in the next, 30 minutes, we're going to have a better idea of where Mike O'Shea his future stands. And so that's kind of exciting as we sit here live on the air, kind of waiting for that word out of Winnipeg.
I might go one further. I see nothing on Twitter yet on the Mike O'Shea thing. As soon as there is, Clark's on it. We're hoping to go to Winnipeg for live coverage. But Derek Dennis, friend of this show, he's been on a couple of times. The Bone Crusher, the popular left tackle of the Calgary Stampeders, and an outspoken player rep.
Hot on Twitter, yeah.
You've been following him on Twitter? People are really going after players in the CFL for no loyalty. And Derek Dennis has shot back and said, stop cutting guys 1 year into a 3-year deal, and you won't have to worry about roster turnover or guys wanting to sign 1-year deals. Just saying we crave continuity and security just like the next employee. And I'm with them on that. And don't, by the way, blame the CFL for this. The NHL's had it for years, potentially forever. How would you like to be a James Neal fan? You would have had to buy an Oilers jersey, then a Flames jersey, then a Golden Knights jersey, then a Penguins jersey, or wherever the hell he would, Dallas jersey.
I know.
How do you blame the player when, as Derek Dennis says, especially in the CFL, that the team can cut you 1 year into a 3-year deal and you're done? How do you blame the player?
I know.
You can't.
And you don't have to worry about money or paying out the rest of the contract. Nothing's guaranteed. I think that's a big part of it, is having the more of the contracts guaranteed, creating a little more safety for the players. And I'm sure of course, they're sitting there being like, well, we're trying to negotiate that in CBA negotiations and things like that. But that's part of the give and take and the battle that you come into when you get into those negotiations. The players would love more guarantees to know that that's going to happen. That would prevent the GMs from making too many moves and create a little more consistency from year to year when it comes to the organizations, and put a little more emphasis on drafting and a little more emphasis on growing your talent. I think it would be great for the game. But is it the best for business? I don't know. And as we like to say around here, that's who runs the organizations.
Talk about morals and a way to do things properly. Derek Dennis, I don't think really is at the top of the list. That's the guy, great all-star offensive tackle, outstanding lineman in Canada, I think 3 years ago in Calgary. Came here for 2 or 3 years.
1 year.
1 year, and stunk. It wasn't worth a damn. Now he goes back to Calgary and comes out with all these great philosophies. So,
but you know what? It's funny you say that, and Derek's probably watching this show today, as we know Sean Lemon is. And by the way, you players, chime in with the comments, please. It sounds like we're going to have James Wilder here in a moment. Some players fit in better schemes than others. So Dennis wasn't a fit here. It became very evident because I was with the Rough Riders at the time. Just wasn't a fit. So he went back to Calgary in the Huffnagel system, and he flourished again. Look at Luchez Purifoy. Didn't fit in Ottawa.
No.
Came here, and he's an all-star.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And they couldn't wait to sign him to a 2-year extension. So that doesn't mean Derek Dennis is a bad guy. Just didn't work.
Yeah. And also coming here after being the lineman of the year in the CFL, those expectations are massively high. It comes down to the Micah Johnson thing, too, with the expectations of this guy becoming this all-world leader. And when he's not putting up record numbers of sacks or leading the league in sacks or, tackle for loss or all these different statistical categories, we think it's a disappointing season. And some of the football people really liked the way that Micah Johnson played. So it's a matter of expectations versus reality too, and being in a spot where you have success and where you're comfortable. And Derek Dennis clearly, and as you mentioned, in Huffnagel and Dave Dickinson's system, has a lot of success on that offensive line.
This is wild. And Clark's telling me we will have James Wilder Jr. on the phone in moments. They're just setting it up. Darren Bombing, TSN Radio Winnipeg, been on this show many times, been here in the bunker. This is what he tweeted prior to the Mike O'Shea media address. I don't necessarily expect a new contract to be announced at this precise time as the Bomber head coach's deal is currently set to expire, but we've experienced stranger things. ... So nobody has any idea. And does that speak to the close to the vest nature of one Mike O'Shea?
Yeah,
that's
sure
cool.
does. It sure
He's
does.
called a news conference at 11 himself, and nobody has any idea what it is.
Yeah. I can't see
There's
him
some
announcing-
intrigue to that.
He's
But where's
not
the
gonna-
insiders?
He's not going to announce he's going to Winnipeg or to Toronto. I can't see that.
No, well, not when they currently have a head coach. He couldn't come out and announce it today.
So what's he going to announce? I mean, if I'm putting up the betting line, I'm putting the odds are that he's announcing that he's staying and he's going to sign a new deal. But it's weird that Mike O'Shea will address the media. It's not the Winnipeg Blue Bombers have announced a press conference. If they were announcing a new contract for their Grey Cup winning head coach,
The team would do it.
That's a big deal.
GM would do it.
The GM would
Waller,
team would
GM Waller would do it,
announce
yeah.
a press conference, and they'd all be there, and we'd be seeing pictures of it right now,
Yeah.
and it would be announced. We probably would have had somebody who would have seen the contract already.
It must be announced by now.
So I don't know what he's
I'm
going to say.
sitting here hitting
must have
refresh, like y'all, as they say.
Yes.
It's gone very, very quiet in Winnipeg. Very quiet. Did MTS go down? Or your phone's not working? What's going on? Furthermore, just to switch topics for a second, I can hear Clark on the phone with James Wilder. We'll be bringing him on. John Ryan, we're told it's 50-50 whether he re-signs with the Saskatchewan Roughriders. Rob Maber retiring yesterday after 9 years in the CFL, couple of Grey Cups. John now will be, if he comes back on the same deal in 2020, as the highest paid punter in the CFL. Should the Riders sign him at the same deal frenzy, rumored to be $100,000.
Yes, definitely. He's great for the Rough Riders. They love him. He's from Saskatchewan. He was a top punter average-wise in the league last year. Some of his punts were the long towering spirals that we're looking at, the real long ones, but he made it happen when he had to, as far as distance was concerned, I thought.
He's also filling more than one position on that football team. We got to remember that and consider that. Not on the field, but John Ryan jerseys, fans in the stands, the hometown kid, that's part of the whole deal, right? That's part of it. And I know we're dealing with a salary cap and everything like that, but John Ryan, in my opinion, is worth every penny that they're paying him.
These days in football, while that should be a big deal, it's not as big a deal as it used to be.
No.
And from what I know of these negotiations, Jeremy O'Day looks at it as strictly football related. The salary versus what you can get on the field, jerseys and ticket sales, not my deal. And I see where he's coming from on that.
You're watching Rod Peterson On Demand. For more of The Rod Peterson Show, visit rodpeterson.com or follow Rod Peterson on social media.